Your child's brain is forming about 1 million neural connections every single second in the first few years of life. 1 million every second. And here's the amazing part. You don't need fancy toys or expensive programs to support that growth. You just need 5 small habits that fit into things you're already doing every day. Let's get into it. Okay, habit number 1, and this is the foundation of everything, is called serve and return. Your baby coos and you coo back. They point at a dog and you say, yes, doggy. They hand you a block, you say thank you and hand it back. It's like a tennis match, just much cuter. They serve, you return. Here's what's happening in their brain when you do this. Every single back and forth exchange fires billions of new neural connections. Not hundreds, not thousands, billions. You're literally wiring their brain for communication. You're teaching turn taking, which is the basis of every conversation they'll ever have. You're also building secure attachment, which research shows predicts emotional health later in life. These moments strengthen social and emotional pathways in the brain. Kids who experience lots of serve and return interactions develop stronger communication skills and better emotional regulation. So when your toddler shows you the same car for the 15th time today, that's not annoying, that's brain building. Habit number 2, read 1 picture book a day. Just 1. You might think they can't even read yet, what's the point? But if you read just 1 book a day from birth to age 5, your child hears about 78,000 more words per year than a child who isn't read to. 78,000 words. And these aren't just everyday words. Books include richer, more interesting vocabulary, words like enormous, curious, or tumbled. This builds comprehension, imagination, and activates the exact brain regions they'll need for reading later on. Reading lights up multiple parts of the brain at once, areas responsible for attention language processing and early literacy. It supports joint attention, which is critical for learning, and introduces symbolic thinking as children connect pictures to words. And it's bonding time. You're teaching them that reading is cozy, safe, and enjoyable. That positive association with books sticks for life. Habit number 3 might sound boring, but it's a total game changer. A consistent sleep routine. Same time every night, same basic steps, bath, book, song, bed, whatever works for your family. Just keep it predictable. I know some nights are complete chaos. That's real life. But even on those days, try to keep the rhythm as steady as you can. Here's why this matters so much. Sleep is when your child's brain consolidates everything they learned during the day. It literally moves information from short-term memory into long-term memory. During sleep, the brain prunes unnecessary connections and strengthens important ones. It also regulates cortisol, which supports emotional stability. Kids with consistent sleep routines tend to have better attention spans, improved behavior, and stronger memory. A well-rested child isn't just less cranky. Their brain is actually better at learning. That bedtime routine isn't just about sleep. It's about optimizing brain development while they rest. Habit number 4 might feel a little uncomfortable at first. Let them struggle a little. I'm not talking about letting your child cry without comfort. I mean everyday moments. The ball rolls away, the block tower falls, they can't quite reach a toy. Instead of jumping in right away, pause for a few seconds and let them try. When kids work through small frustrations, they're building emotional resilience. They're learning delayed gratification. They're developing stress regulation and problem-solving skills. This kind of manageable struggle strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for executive function, self-control, and emotional regulation. Every time they push through a challenge, those neural pathways grow stronger. When we fix everything immediately, we actually take away their chance to build those circuits. So when your toddler is trying to fit the square block into the square hole and getting frustrated, take a breath and wait. Watch them figure it out. And when they do, celebrate it. That's executive function being built in real time. Habit number 5, let them help with simple tasks around the house. Even a 2-year-old can hand you socks while you fold laundry. A 3-year-old can help water plants. A 4-year-old can sort plastic containers by size. These aren't chores. They're brain-building activities disguised as chores. When kids help out, they strengthen executive function skills like planning and sequencing. They build fine and gross motor coordination. They learn responsibility and develop a sense of, I can do this. These activities activate the frontal lobe, which supports planning, organization, and completing multi-step tasks. They also build motor pathways and cognitive flexibility, and that feeling of accomplishment releases dopamine, reinforcing motivation and learning. Most importantly, they feel proud. That sense of capability, the belief that I can do things, is the foundation of confidence later in life. So instead of doing everything yourself, While your child watches a screen, invite them to help. Make it age appropriate. Make it playful. Let them be your little helper. So there you have it. 5 tiny habits. Serve and return. Read 1 book a day. Keep a consistent sleep routine. Let them struggle a little and let them help. None of these cost money. None of them require extra time. They fit into what you're already doing. But together they build a brain wired for communication, emotional resilience, memory, problem solving, and confidence. Now let's talk about what not to worry about, because this is where a lot of parents feel unnecessary pressure. Your child does not need constant stimulation. They don't need flashcards, educational apps, or nonstop activities. In fact, boredom is not the enemy of brain development. It's a powerful tool. When kids experience moments of nothing to do, their brain switches into creativity mode. They start imagining, exploring, and inventing games on their own. During unstructured time, the default mode network in the brain becomes active. This is the system responsible for creativity, self-reflection, and problem solving. It's when kids practice independent thinking. So if your child is lying on the floor, staring at the ceiling, or playing with the same toy in a new way, that's not wasted time. That's their brain learning how to think for itself. You don't need to fill every moment. Sometimes the best thing you can do is step back. Another incredibly important habit is talking to your child about feelings. Not just correcting behavior, but naming emotions. When they're upset, you can say you're feeling frustrated or that made you sad. This might seem simple, but it's doing something profound in their brain. Labeling emotions helps connect the emotional center of the brain to the language centers and the prefrontal cortex. Over time, this builds emotional intelligence. Kids who can name their feelings are better at managing them. They have stronger self-regulation skills and fewer behavioral issues later on. You're not just calming a meltdown, you're teaching their brain how emotions work, and that skill stays with them for life. Let's talk about movement, because movement is brain development. When young children crawl, climb, run, spin, and jump, they're not just burning energy, they're wiring their brain. Physical movement strengthens the connection between the brain and the body, especially in areas responsible for balance, coordination, attention, and even reading readiness. Cross-body movements like crawling, climbing stairs, or throwing a ball help both sides of the brain communicate with each other. This integration supports problem-solving, focus, and learning later on. So when your child wants to run in circles or climb the couch for the 10th time, they're not being wild. They're literally building neural highways. Another powerful habit is letting your child make small choices. Do you want the red cup or the blue cup? Do you want to read this book or that one? These tiny decisions give your child a sense of autonomy and control. In the brain, choice-making strengthens executive function and decision-making circuits. When children feel a sense of agency, they're more cooperative and more confident. They learn that their voice matters. And that doesn't create spoiled kids. It creates secure kids. Kids who feel respected are more likely to respect others. So offering choices isn't giving up control, it's teaching responsibility. Now let's talk about screens, because this comes up for every parent. Screens themselves aren't the main issue, it's what they replace. When screens replace conversation, play, movement, or sleep, that's when brain development takes a hit. Young brains learn best through real-world interaction, not passive consumption. If you do use screens, try to make them interactive. Watch together. Talk about what's happening. Ask questions. Turn it into a shared experience instead of a digital babysitter. The brain grows through connection, not isolation. And finally, let's talk about you. Your calm presence matters more than perfection. Kids don't need perfect parents, they need regulated parents. When you take care of yourself, pause before reacting, and repair after mistakes, you're modeling emotional regulation. And that modeling wires their brain just as much as anything else.